This is exhilarating. Get excited.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't tell you as a kid when I was growing up, I was 2 years old when this movie came out, and I remember when the when the first one dropped, I was too young to experience it, and then I remember watching it and just being blown away because I loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. And when I saw the animated show, I was like, oh man, this would be so cool if they were real. And then my dad brought this home when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh, they're real. And the puppetry in this film is next level. And the reason for that is because the puppets were made and operated by Jim Henson and the Jim Henson Puppet Company. And, oh my gosh.
If not a little creepy.
Well, no, like, I would say these are the least creepy. The ones from the TV series, those are creepy.
I still found them a little creepy.
How's that?
They're just a little, I don't know, uncanny valley, I guess.
I don't get that with these because of the fact that they're actually physically there and they're real. The Uncanny Valley, I don't get much from animatronic puppets like this. I get from them trying to digitally recreate IRL things and it just looking so off. That's for me where for everybody's different. I guess that's just where you draw the line of the Uncanny Valley, and that's where I draw the line of the Uncanny Valley. But what I'll say is this film was very entertaining, very good, and it was more edgy than what you would expect from a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And it made a shit ton of money. It made a whole heaping ton of money. But there were parents who were complaining about the fact that there was swearing in this. And by swearing, I mean dropping a lot of dams, some hells, and some slightly suggestive things here and there. It's good that I'm not saying it's good they steered away from drugs, but they did have like kids smoking cigars and cigarettes and all that in the film, and they didn't have kids like doing drugs and stuff like that, but they did have them stealing a lot for Shredder basically building a criminal empire and all that. And in the second film, Secret of the Ooze, they basically went more goofy with it, and they also had the characters not using their weapons as much, which was weird, because literally Leonardo, in the first scene we see him with his swords, like, hey, now you see him? Now you don't. He throws them into the ceiling, and he, jumps up and grabs onto them and kicks people in the face without using his swords, whereas in this, he uses his swords a lot to, defend himself and fight Shredder and everything. Yeah, there's a lot in this film that I like, but there's things like downsides. For instance, the climax with a big fight with Shredder at the end. We do get that to a certain extent, but not what we should have gotten. But anyway, I've seen this film more times than I can count, and I'm interested to see how it still holds up. This is a review revisit for Doug because he did an old review of this, but it was before he had his style that he has now. It was back when he was still doing nothing but memes back in the day. Which, that's all well and good, but I want to see Doug have a more nuanced take on it with a little bit more deep dives into the production and everything. But anyway, I'm ready to hop into this. How about you, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990. Oh boy, it's so long ago. Here we go.
This episode brought to you by Prize Picks. Run your game. Come check us out at Cleveland Gaming Classic, September 19th through the 21st in Cleveland, Ohio. Hope to see you there. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it, so you don't have to. And welcome
Hi,
to
Doug.
another episode of Review Revisit. Did I do a title card for that? I can't remember. Anyway, I re-reviewed Pokemon the first movie because over 15 years ago, my style was very different, and I had about 10 minutes to talk about it, and I focused more on telling jokes than analyzing. Over the years, though, my style has changed. I'm revisiting old reviews and going into more detail about them. Seeing how I just saw this on the big screen, it's been on my mind, so why not? Growing up, I was absolutely obsessed with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was one of those kids that had every toy, saw every episode. If a product had a Ninja Turtle on it, it had to be mine. So, as you'd expect, I loved the hell out of this movie. Next to maybe Batman, this was the VHS I watched the most growing up. While no matter what, I will always love this film, I will admit, when I grew up, I had a difficult time figuring out if it was objectively good. I still loved it, nothing can take that away, but if somebody asked me if this was good for someone who never heard of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't think I could say yes. There's a lot of things that are very impressive, but there's a lot of things that are very awkward and don't make a whole lot of sense. I think Roger Ebert put it best, saying while he didn't like the movie, it's probably the best possible Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. In 1990, I think that's very fair. So now, 35 years after it came out, I wanted to go back and, yes, relive the good old days of Turtlemania, but see once and for all if I consider this objectively good or a nostalgic guilty pleasure. So let's concentrate hard to see rats in a campfire. Yeah, that's a side thing in this. Let's take a look at the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We open in New York City, and note to self, exposition is a lot easier when one of your leads is a reporter.
Crimes without criminals, an invisible gang at work. Who are we gonna call? Unfortunately, the police.
Yeah.
That's Judith Hogue as April O'Neil, and while originally I gave this version a hard time for not looking like the cartoon, I mean, if you grew up with this as your first love, so would you.
Yeah. But Judith Hogue's a good actress. Judith Hogue, I like her as an actress. She's very talented. But, yeah. This April O'Neil...
She really does capture everything else about her perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the spunk, wit, heart, and most importantly, obsession with her job. I always said the big difference between her and Lois Lane is Lois did her job for the fame and to win awards.
Nobel Prize.
I supposing the biggest gun smuggling ring to hit this town in 10 years, and what makes the front page?
April does it because she loves getting information to everybody and is confident enough to know she can probably do it the best.
I think you know just as much as I do about this Foot Clan, and I don't think you're doing anything about it. I doubt very much that Chief Stearns is taking this possible connection seriously.
See, that is what a reporter is supposed to do. A reporter is supposed to challenge in areas where attention is sorely needed. That is integrity as a reporter, and that is sorely missing nowadays because everyone's a headline chaser, everyone's an ambulance chaser.
Dude, if a reporter like, the face of the news got on any news channel anywhere in the United States, probably most other countries nowadays, and was like, yeah, our local chief of police probably isn't doing jack shit about this, they'd lose their job immediately.
Oh, exactly.
The chief of police would call up the news channel and be like, you fucking fire them right now or else, basically, kind of thing.
Yeah, or else I'm not allowing your news vans on my near our crime scenes ever again.
Yeah,
it's like,
stuff like that.
And to which, if your boss had your back, which April's boss was sort of on the fence with her, if her boss had her back, he would just be like, go ahead, we'll sue the city, and we'll ensure that we will be able to be on the crime scenes because freedom of press there, Chief Stearns. Mm-hmm. You are not allowed to ban us from crime scenes because because the public has a right to know, and we are a news organization, and freedom of the press is a thing. Basically, you need people who are going to go to bat for you, especially if you want to be someone who wants to change things for the better. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Nobody wants to do that nowadays, though.
Sadly, that's true.
I must really be onto something hot if they're trying to kill me.
Lois is about the glory, April's about the story. Oh, and she wears yellow. Yeah, for whatever reason, you can change everything about this character, but as long as she wears yellow at least once, she's April.
Get away from me!
She stumbles across some robbers who try to mug her, but out go the lights, and she's suddenly saved. She finds the weapon of one of her rescuers left behind. Oh yeah, even though this was released in 1990, it's kind of an unofficial 1980s kids film. Okay, it's not Return to Oz or Secret of NIMH or anything, but It's shot more like Death Wish than a Saturday morning cartoon show, and doesn't mind teaching you at least one new vocabulary word.
Damn. Yeah. Well, okay. Keep in mind, when they made this, Eastman and Laird were still, like, working together and were still at the peak of their powers in terms of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they wanted to go more edgy. They wanted to go more old school, like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because as it went on, it got more kid-friendly. And when the TV show came out in 1987, that was when it was, like, at its peak of, like, kid-friendliness. And they wanted to go and be more hard-edged with this film, which is why there's, you know, colorful vocabulary, darker setting, and violent villains. And honestly, I like that. I like that a lot.
Damn!
Yeah.
If they were allowed to chain smoke in this movie, they probably would.
Awesome!
Wait, hold on. Say that again, Doug?
If they were allowed to chain smoke in this movie, they probably would.
Doug, they do. There's a literal scene where a kid...
Maybe he's setting up for a joke later.
Kid is playing pool, like, chawing down on a big-ass stogie.
Maybe he's setting up for a joke later.
Okay, I'm going to put this in the complain later folder. If that is not a payoff to a joke later on, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm just saying. Love you, Doug, but come on, man.
Awesome!
Yes.
Righteous!
I know everybody praises the turtle costumes in this, and honestly, they deserve even more praise. Jim Henson apparently had reservations working on this because of how violent it was. Lord knows he had little of that in his history.
What about my future? You don't have a future.
But you never would have guessed because these still look amazing all these years later. They dirty them up, they look wet and sweaty. Compare these to the later Turtle movies and you can see...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, I understand, like right here, these turtles, and plus, they look, each one of them looks different. It's not they just took 4 of the same ones and just put a color bandana on each of them. No. Donatello has more bags under his eyes because he's always staying up late working on stuff. Michelangelo is the more younger looking one because he's always the goofball and the more energetic one, and the one who is more lackadaisical. But anyway, I love this.
They look wet and sweaty. Compare these to the later turtles.
Yeah, look at that there. That is basically all of them were the exact same. It was just the swap. They swapped the colors of the bandanas. That's it.
Turtle movies, and you can see they did not phone this in. Imagining these actors trying to see through these masks and moving as naturally and quick as any teen would, while also choreographing fight sequences as precise as any martial arts fight that didn't have actors in pounds of foam and wires. As an adult, I see this as a really amazing achievement.
Give me 3! You got it!
The film only had 7 weeks to complete, and because every studio was too afraid to touch it, fearing it was too risky in terms of the effects, it ended up being an independent film. The highest grossing independent film at the time. But because of this, while the turtles look great, they broke down a lot. Which is really eerie to see. Like, these moments I've watched a million times are suddenly disturbing as hell because it looks like they're having a stroke. Whenever this happened, they just shot scenes of Splinter was mostly a hand puppet. Plus, the scenes were a lot more gentler and slower, matching his father-like persona perfectly.
I suggest we all meditate now.
Even if he orgasms when he meditates. What was that?
Yeah, my guess is right there, the ADR, like the dubbing over, they basically were just like, they were just like, give us an exhale. And when he went, they were just like, no, make it more raspy because, you know, we need it to really sound like that he's exhaling away all of his frustrations. To which he does the, That's so bad. Come on. There's one little tweak in ADR would make that so much less creepy.
The Turtles are a touch different from how we knew them at the time. Donatello is certainly the brains, but he's not a super genius. Leonardo is still not that great a leader. In fact, he does very little leaderish things in this, but he does offer a lot of heart and sensitivity. And I guess they thought Michelangelo and Raphael were a little too similar in the cartoon, as they were both the lighthearted jokesters, so they made Mikey more the fun guy and Raph more the angry brooder. And this will carry over to a lot of future versions, as it does make sense, as he would be more the angsty muscle of the group, and it does feel like this lineup needs that.
Plus red is the color of rage.
Yes. Every one of them, like, represents, like, has their own representation here. And I think this is the property that solidified that. You know, the brooder, the goofball, the leader, which I accept Leo as the leader because later on he does become, like, the one who takes the brunt of people's mistakes, as a leader is supposed to, and basically wants people around him to be better.
Where did they come up with this stuff?
Gotta love when a mutant turtle in a trench coat says, well, that was far-fetched. We're also introduced to Casey Jones, played by Elias Koteas, who originally had a brief scene showing he's pissed off with violence in the world, so he adds more violence in the world. But in this version, they cut that out, so he's just a random grown man beating up misguided kids.
Class is Pain 101. Your instructor's Casey Jones.
Honestly, like a lot of the characters in this movie, though, the charm from the actors helps balance out a lot of moments that don't always add up.
Dude, Elias Koteas, he is genuinely a very funny and a very charismatic guy, and he fits Casey very well here. I like his characterization in this.
How about a 5-minute game misconduct for roughing, pal?
Ref says he's too rough on the kids, and again, the big fight.
God, I hate punkers. Especially bald ones with green makeup. Who wear masks over ugly faces.
I'll admit, even when I was a kid, I was thrown off that a giant turtle could fool everybody into thinking he's human by just wearing a trench coat and a hat. But after visiting New York, this scene here...
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat.
Also, that is, from what I understand, that's actually Raph's actual voice actor.
You're gonna LaGuardia, right?
Is very authentic. They could literally see a giant turtle running around, even with a passenger who voices that turtle.
See?
Oh. It's surprisingly realistic.
I have tried to channel your anger, Raphael, but more remains.
The film does take time to address teenage anger, and actually, I'd argue that's probably the theme of the film. Splinter tries to understand and comfort a teen feeling angry and lost, but there's others out there back then, and certainly now, who try to exploit that anger and misguidedness for their own personal gain.
He poisons your minds to obtain that which he desires.
Also, young Sam Rockwell. I did not realize this was him until so much later. Good lord.
He cares nothing for you or the people you hurt.
It was something as a little kid I didn't fully follow, but as a teen and especially as an adult, I see the value in it.
Miss O'Neill, if you would stick to asking questions.
It pushes the police chief to do a better job finding the thieves, who are apparently inspired by Japanese martial artists called the Foot Clan.
O'Neill, get in here!
Timely.
Trust me, you'll get plenty of that in other versions.
107, a new record.
The head of the Foot Clan, known as the Shredder, though, see, she's getting too close.
Often seems that...
Okay, but can you stop stabbing our TVs?
This is why I need so many just to watch one show.
The Foot Clan follow April to a subway, introducing the first of many dubbed actors in the film.
We've been waiting for you, Miss O'Neill.
We've been looking for you, Miss O'Neill.
Attack!
There is a new enemy, freaks of nature.
There is a new enemy, freaks of nature.
I didn't say that.
But Raph tries to get his sight back and sees she's in trouble, so he rushes in to save the day.
She got jumped in the subway. I had to bring her here. Can we keep her?
Still less creepy than when Casper did it.
You know, that's actually true.
April wakes up and gradually accepts her new surroundings. Oh God, I signed on for another Halloween Town movie! And they explain,
oh God, that's right!
Explain where they came from through, I think, the same camera I used to shoot my first review of this.
The little ones were crawling into a strange ooze.
Pizza! Pizza! Radical!
This is one of many moments of sobriety where I go, oh yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is kind of insane. April finds herself getting...
Makes you wonder what Eastman and Laird were smoking when they came up with this shit. Be like, bro, turtles. But they're teenaged, and they're mutated, and they do freaking martial arts, man. Kev, that is so fucking stupid.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, exactly.
Along with them, though, especially when she says she has frozen pizza in her apartment, which, of course, the turtles have an unhealthy addiction to.
Adrian! You killed my brother, you dirty rat!
April's like, they literally live in shit. Just laugh at the bad impressions. They leave her apartment with very odd hallway decor. But it looks like a member of the Foot followed them home the previous night, which that must have been a fun report. Hey, I think the Muppets from Jabba's palace are living below us. And they take Splinter.
Splinter.
Hell yeah.
Love that. Good callback, Doug.
Dude, that game is hard as balls.
You ain't kidding.
The soundtrack on it slapped.
Oh, yeah, it does. The sewer one where you have to disarm the bombs. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I hate that one so much.
The dam.
Yes.
Says the following morning, her boss, Charles, tells her to lay off the story as his son
I got
Dan
past it
was
exactly like one time and immediately like lost because the fucking tank ran over my turtle on the map screen. And that was the last one I had alive at the time, and I was like, God damn it. Or, of course, I didn't say that at the time because I was just a kid, but
like, crap!
Yeah, it's like,
Nicholas, watch your mouth!
Is using him as a bargaining chip.
It's my story, no way. I just had a rough night.
Well, let somebody else help you cover City Hall.
Charles.
Okay, one of the side effects of licking toads is you literally see toads. Charles has difficulty being a single father. Single fathers being something you didn't usually see that much in kids' films back then. As Danny runs away to his hideout, basically the 1980s version of Pleasure Island.
See? They are chain smoking, Doug.
Which if kids turned into donkeys in this, it would bizarrely kind of match.
Full house!
What is the story behind that sign, though? Did a kid come in like, I stole something, and they were like, what the hell are we gonna do with this? Just throw it up next to the stop sign he brought in last week. Will be a mix between evil TGI Fridays and Pugsley's Room. The kids are introduced to the Shredder, who looks appropriately intimidating, though sometimes the voice can be a little too manipulated. Like I'm talking to someone who kidnapped my child.
You are here because the outside world rejects you.
If you want to see Billy again, send $1 million or 5 crates of Archie comics. This one in particular, if you have it.
I want you all to become full members of the Foot.
Yeah, I never really got what his end game was either. Like, the cartoon was silly, but his goal was clear.
I want to conquer her!
Of course. Also, not only that, but the fact that Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air voices the Shredder is one of my favorite little factoids ever. Yes, Uncle frickin' Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air voices the Shredder in the animated series.
In this, corrupt kids, steal shit, produce more metal GPS masks. I never followed it. Also, remember those moments of sobriety I was talking about?
Together we will punish these turtles.
You are high. Where's the exit?
Well, think about it. It's a bunch of kids, and they don't know any better. And if you tell them there's a bunch of, there's a group of big green turtles out there kicking ass, they're going to believe you. To a certain extent. Especially if they see them in person, be like, whoa! Holy crap, that guy was right!
Congratulations, you win the prize of prize
even
pick.
as a kid, I probably have been like, I don't trust this dude at all.
Yeah.
Also, that guy's sketch as hell.
Also, Doug.
Also, what kind of name is a Foot Clan? Like, is he into what the fuck's going on?
Oh, you're right. I would understand like the Black Dragon Clan, or like the Red, or like the
It's like surely he could have come up with a cooler name.
Instead, Foot. Yeah. Also, let me bring this back in from my bitch
Clan.
later folder.
I mean, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the Clan of the Fist.
Yeah.
Sounds way more badass than the Clan
Iron,
of the...
Yeah, Clan of the Iron Fist or something like that. You know, something more than just Foot. But also bringing back my bitch later folder. Yeah, Doug, no payoff to that setup of the chain smoking, dude.
Well,
come on.
Chain smoking is technically
fair enough, but still, you have a kid with a stogie in his mouth. Come on, man. It's right there. Ugh. Anyway.
This is good. Because you see, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, and you know, Perfect Stranger, who I just feel an immediate connection to because you're letting this ad play and not skipping it like a coward. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks. That's a callback. I don't know why they have me say that like 3 times. Prize Picks, there's a 4th one for you. Prize Picks 5 is where it's good to be right. Like I won the hot dog eating contest last year with overs on both contestants. No, I didn't compete in the hot dog eating contest. You must be dumb. But if you didn't think that, you can be my friend. A friend miles away who can't talk to me. But we can both have fun because the experience of playing Prize Picks is so easy. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. That's it. And seeing how there's a lot of good players this season, like Caleb Williams and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Say that one more time.
And seeing how there's a lot of good players this season, like Caleb Williams.
Wrong answer. You start with Caleb Williams? Bro, come on. I know he's on a shit team, and he has the potential to be great, but he's not a good QB right now, dude. Which, who am I to say anything? I mean, the dude's in the NFL. He's one of the best athletes in the world. Who am I to say anything? But I understand Josh Allen.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. You can make all sorts of...
Yeah, I understand Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Why not say Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes or any other AFC or Jordan Love, because Jordan Love's made strides.
Great predictions. Like, I'm still taking under 23.5 touchdowns
on
Aaron Rodgers. And over 22.5 with Caleb Williams. But hey, did you know Prize Picks also offers injury reboots? If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. And hey, again, Prize Picks invented the flex play. What is that? I'll tell you. It means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Are you convinced yet? I kinda care. Well, if you are, do this, and if you're not, still do this. Download the app today and use the code, Nostalgia, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Nostalgia to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And now socks.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Come watch me play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth every Friday on Twitch. We also got other content during the week, so come check us out. Danny tells the Shredder he saw the turtles at April's place when he really should have brought up the Frogger living there. And the Foot kicked the shit out of Raph before taking on the rest of them. I don't care how often used in the advertising. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. If you look close, you can tell they use different masks for when they fight with fewer wires inside, hence why they usually keep the same expression during an action sequence. Again, though, the fact that they can do any of this in these costumes is mind-blowing to me. The sweat that fell out of those turtle heads must have been like dumping water out of a mop bucket.
California roll!
I'll admit the jokes can be a little hit and miss, but I legit love this line.
These guys aren't lumberjacks!
No joke! The only thing safe in the woods
would be the trees! That is a good line.
What a little bitch.
Yeah, I know, right?
Casey joins the fight as well, and they fall into April's antique store downstairs, which catches fire.
April, it's Charles. You're fired, April.
Speaking of which, Charles fires April for continuing to cover the story about the Foot. Yeah, I think she already regrets that.
Hey, didn't they use this place in the Grapes of Wrath?
I haven't been up here in years.
Good lord, a New York apartment, an antique shop, and a farmhouse she doesn't use? The economy in the 90s wasn't that good.
It's an old like family home that she doesn't use. I mean, come on. Plus, she inherited it from her parents. That's the big thing.
Hell, even the sewers look like a pretty decent place to live.
Our nearest neighbor's about 4 miles away.
Well, hey, you just saved yourself an 8-mile round tripper. You were fired.
Casey delivers the news that April has been fired in not exactly the most sensitive way.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's kind of like moonlighting, isn't it?
Grapes of Wrath and moonlighting? They really knew what 1990 kids were into, huh? I really like these scenes of them trying to recover from everything that's happened. I always kind of wondered if Avengers 2 borrowed from this. With that said, there are some moments that are unintentionally hilarious. Like, I never laughed at where they put unconscious Raphael until this viewing.
I just imagine Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z.
They just freaking dumped him in the bathtub. Like, what the heck? Put him on the couch or something. Damn.
Exactly. Well, no, they got to keep him wet because he's a turtle.
I guess.
Yeah, he's a reptile. You got to keep him wet to a certain extent. But dude, they literally just threw his ass in there. Yamcha, just the whole. It's literally the Yamcha death pose. Christ.
Did they just toss him in there while they're unloading their luggage? Where are the beds in this place? Look, I know a turtle can be comfortable in a tub of water, but somehow I don't think the measurements check out.
Hey. What? Raph, you're awake.
Raph does end up getting better as he makes amends with Leo, who he had a fight with earlier.
It's a Kodak moment. Huh?
Also, little creepy thing here. That's the voice actor. Yeah, that's the actor inside.
Yeah, you can see his teeth in the throat.
We see turtles have the same sex mouth that Xenomorph has.
Yep.
And we get the classic couple hating each other until out of nowhere they like each other.
I wouldn't ask for your help if you were the last thing on the face of this planet.
And I do mean out of nowhere. Like, most rom-coms have the couple finding something to connect on, but here they literally go from fighting all the time to this random massage scene. But to his credit, it is pretty steamy.
Yep. Sit down. Yep.
A little too much for Mr. Camera.
We then get the scene that I loved as a kid, but as an adult, was one of the major moments that made me say, I don't know if this is objectively a good flick. Leonardo meditates and within seconds can talk to Splinter.
Splinter!
He encourages the others to do so, and Splinter comes to them in a vision, even though they never explain how this works, shown any moment of them learning it, or have Splinter say, by the way, if you want to save me, I'm on the east end of Lair Street. It's another in-joke, I know, it kind of works anyway. Help! But okay, last week I was talking about emotional storytelling with Snow White, where the logic doesn't matter, it's more about what your emotions want to see, and kids are much better at giving into that. While this film is certainly not on the same level as that, I think it does dabble in it, and to some extent, it does kind of work. There is a sincerity to this. You feel the heartbreak of them being separated from their father figure. It's not cynical in any way. Even though it doesn't make a lick of sense, the emotion does hit.
Gladly return with my final words. I love you all, my sons.
If you want to teach your kids about mastering mind, body, and emotions, show them Avatar. But if you want an emotional moment told in an emotional way, this gets the job done. To some extent, you could say the same about Shredder's vague plan, or the turtle's first words being pizza, or a few other scenes. It isn't just one isolated moment, so it kind of works.
What is it?
It's time to go back.
The turtles go back home, and they find that Danny has been hiding out there since they were out. It's kind of weird they didn't order any Foot Clan to stay there after they took Splinter. Casey doesn't like his new surroundings, though.
You're a claustrophobic.
You want a fist in the mouth? I've never even looked at another guy before.
Yeah. Once again, it portrays Casey as a genuinely streetwise person, but he's not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to little nuances of language.
I love watching this movie with people who haven't seen it in years being like, oh, didn't get that when I was younger.
Yeah.
As the turtles dine on some leftover pizza.
Do you like penicillin on your pizza?
That is Domino's in 1990. Danny goes back to Splinter, who he's been talking to, and he shares the story about where he came from.
I lived in Japan, a pet of my master Yoshi, mimicking his movements from my cage.
Even when I was a kid watching this on the big screen, I heard several adults laughing at this moment saying, okay, what are we watching?
His only rival, Uroku Saki.
He talks about how a man named Uroku Saki was jealous of his master for winning the heart of a woman. So after he moved to America, Saki followed them and killed them both. He even sliced off his ear before leaving. Much like this footage is slicing out my eyes. Yeah, I know this was low budget, but my retinas are bleeding looking at this.
What are you doing in there, boy?
Nothing.
Shredder finds out the turtles have returned, and he goes himself along with the Foot Clan to take them down. The turtles fight them off as Casey follows Danny, who's had a change of heart, and tries to help him free Splinter. They end up getting caught, though.
It's gonna cost you, Tinkerbell.
I still don't know what that means, but it makes me laugh. Casey gets the drop on him, but 22-year-old Sam Rockwell isn't having any of this.
We're a family. You call this here and that down there family?
The film actually does do a pretty good job talking to youth at the time. Like, yeah, we'll totally be brainwashed by literal silver samurai, but once one of them loses a fight, this place is kind of lame now.
Hey, dudes, where you going?
The turtles fight their way to a curtain of New York where the Shredder jump cuts towards him, and he's too powerful to take on.
Yeah!
1, 2, 3. Damn, great.
I never did understand why they didn't just all rush him at the same time, but then again, it did lead to some good lines.
What point did we lose control here? Maybe somebody ought to tell him that we're the good guys.
Also, Shredder just waiting in the background is such a power move.
The only thing I have on my schedule is killing you. I mapped out 3 hours for enjoying this. I'm in no rush.
I will say this: the scene where Leo literally looks, he's like, I only have one thought. This guy knows where Splinter is, and then they immediately like get bolstered to fight harder, and they eventually do better against him, and it actually shows like them like fighting with passion and everything. But yeah, also Leo cutting Shredder on the arm, and Shredder actually like being wounded. It was like, I love that moment. And then
we really should invest in guns. Splinter shows up, revealing Shredder as Saki and that he was the rat whose master he killed years ago.
Now I will finish what I began with your ear.
And then goes out like a bitch.
Bombs away.
It is kind of cool that one calm move wins over all his anger-filled rage. I also like this isn't self-defense. He could pull him back up, but he's literally talking in great detail how his death is gonna be. God, I miss kids' films like this.
Death comes for us all, but when you die, it will be without honor.
Oh, and just to be sure, Casey also uses a dump truck to squash him. These are some cold-blooded killers. The police are told the Foot's location, Danny reunites with his father, and April is asked to cover the story, seeing how she was right about everything.
Did you know that Mae Williams over at
Kind of
Channel
makes it
5?
difficult to do a sequel with Shredder at any point after that, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing, is they bring him back in the second one, and then they kill him for good at the end of the second one. At least that's what we were shown.
How do you bring him back from being squashed?
He literally is like he survived, but he was just like very badly like injured, like his arms
I'm
and
still
legs.
alive. I'm just very badly injured.
I'm just very badly burned. It's like
the bone is sticking through the skin.
And it's starting to smell like almonds, which is not good.
Has her own office.
And in case you're wondering, yes, every reporter in this is named after a month.
April O'Neil. Mae Williams. Exactly, June.
You can have a corner office.
Oh, but she's also one of the highest paid field reporters in New York City.
Now you are.
Now you are? Did you see how much New York property she owns? Casey.
New York property in the 1990s, Doug. Keep in mind, yeah.
April celebrate their sporadic love. The Turtles literally don't say cowabunga until the very end. And despite me saying this is sort of an unofficial 80s kids movie, the one thing that clarifies that it came out in the 90s is, of course, the corny end credits rap.
Heroes on a half shell, they're on a mission. When there's a battle, got the enemy wishing that they stayed at home.
Nowadays we have mid-credit sequences, but back then we just had rappers singing the Wikipedia synopsis.
They were once normal, but now they're mutants. Splinter's the teacher, so they are the students. Good versus evil equals confrontation. They can't dust us off like some old coffee table.
Poetry. So that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'll just say it, I have grown to like it more objectively. It's a live-action kids adaptation when doing animated adaptations was more common. The movie had to fight to exist because everyone saw it as too difficult and risky, and now every IP is made into a movie because CG made it so easy. And because the fact that Ninja Turtles has been around for so long, it does acquit it of most of its problems. I always had an issue if you never heard of Ninja Turtles. A lot of things in this wouldn't make sense, but it's like James Gunn's Superman. It's been around long enough you don't even need to tell the backstory. Everybody just knows it. And it really does capture all the different versions of Ninja Turtles up to that point, while still managing to have its own unique spin. It also represents what people liked about the franchise back then and will continue to like about them in the future, even with so many different styles and variations. I thought I remember a lot more of them quoting catchphrases and dated lingo, but I think that's more in the sequels. For any moment where the film falls short, it's constantly saved by the charm of the actors, the ambition of the effects, the passion of its style, and its determination to survive beyond the odds being totally against it. something about this idea does carry on through the generations, and as the first film to capture for that generation what it meant to be a Turtles fan, in many ways it also delivers what it means to be a Turtle fan for future and current generations. I'm not a nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have to.
They can't dust us off like some old coffee table.
All right, well, damn. Well, I agree with Doug. I still have a fondness of it. I remember so much of it from growing up and watching it, and it's been a while since I have watched it personally. But in all honesty, I'm pretty sure I did probably have the same opinion. Although Doug, there's certain things that I wish Doug would have touched more in this, but well, it is what it is. But yeah, man, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Like, seems like it's a pretty impressive film for its time, for sure. I'm not really sure if it would be my thing to go back and watch, though, just for the heck of it, to be honest. I've never really been a huge TMNT fan myself, to be honest.
That's fine.
Like, I liked the NES game when I was a kid. It was pretty cool. And watched a little bit of the animated cartoons on TV. And I saw parts of this, at least, at some point on TV, but yeah.
There it is. So,
there's definitely cool stuff about it, though.
Well, right here, look at that. $13.5 million was its budget, and it made over $200 million.
Very nice.
So, needless to say, it...
$202 million in 1990, too.
Yeah, hold on. Let's do
That's a lot.
Let's do an inflation calculator. Accurate inflation. There we are. In 1990, see, it was $202 million. Over 400 million, over almost 500 million. Wait, hold on. Oh, dang it! It doesn't go up to millions. Okay. And when did it release? Released in March of 1990. Would be, let's see, so $202 million would be. Anybody's listening to me? Fuck you. What the hell? I don't know. Needless to say, it would have been a lot. Let's see. So, we have 1990. Inflation for that. Let's see, $202 million. $500 million. It would have made $500 million in the modern economy. Look at that. That's insane, dude. It would have made $500 million. That's crazy. Oh, God. Anyway. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, around $500 million.
Pretty much had the answer right the first time.
Yeah. But that being said, this was awesome. I'm glad that Doug, went back to touch on this again, because honestly, it's just one of those things that's just, you really want, as opinions change and as you get older, you gain a new appreciation or another criticism for something. And I think it's good that Doug's doing that. But, alright. Anywho, we got to move on from here. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Be good people. Take care. Peace.